Have you ever wondered why some people quietly transform their lives while others talk about change for years and stay exactly where they are? Maybe you've seen it happen. Someone you underestimated suddenly gets ahead. Someone who never bragged, never announced big plans, never posted motivational quotes, somehow builds the life you wanted. And you're left asking yourself, how did they do it? The truth is uncomfortable, but powerful. The life you want is not built when people are watching. It's built in silence. It's built in moments no one applauds, no one notices, and no one cares about. And today, I want to tell you a story that proves exactly how that works. Because somewhere inside this story is the blueprint you've been missing. Stay with me until the end, because this may change the way you see your effort forever. There was a man named Ethan. He was 29 years old and painfully average in every visible way. Not poor enough to be desperate, not successful enough to feel proud. He lived in a shared apartment on the 3rd floor of an aging building near a noisy road. The walls were thin, the lights flickered sometimes. His room barely fit a bed, a desk, and a chair that wobbled if you leaned back too far. Ethan worked as a customer support agent for a mid-sized logistics company. 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, answering emails and calls from frustrated clients about delayed shipments and missing packages. It paid the bills, barely. He wasn't miserable, but he wasn't alive either. His days blended together into a dull routine. Wake up, commute, work, come home tired, scroll, sleep, repeat. Ethan often told himself that his real life would start someday. When he earned more, when he felt more confident, when he found the right opportunity. Like many people, he believed that change required a big event, a breakthrough, a dramatic turning point. But weeks turned into months, and months into years. Nothing changed. And the worst part wasn't the lack of progress. It was the quiet frustration of knowing he was capable of more, yet doing nothing about it. Every morning on his commute, Ethan watched people around him. Some looked exhausted. Some looked focused. Some looked lost. But there was one man he noticed often. A man in his early 40s who boarded the same train every morning at the same time. He dressed simply. No expensive watch. No flashy clothes. But there was something different about him. He always carried a notebook. Not a phone. A notebook. And he wrote in it every single morning. Ethan never saw him scrolling. Never saw him distracted. Just writing, reading, thinking, quietly, consistently. Ethan didn't know why, but that image stayed with him. One evening, after another long day of work, Ethan sat on his bed staring at his phone. He had just spent 2 hours scrolling through social media, watching other people announce new projects, new businesses, new habits, new goals. Everyone seemed to be working on something. Everyone except him. He felt a familiar heaviness in his chest. Not jealousy. Something worse. Regret, he whispered to himself. I keep waiting to feel ready. But what if readiness never comes? That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. His mind replayed the same question over and over. When does life actually change? Archie saw me point. Close to midnight, he sat up, grabbed a pen and a notebook he had never used, and wrote a sentence that would quietly change everything. What can I build when no one is watching? He didn't know why he wrote it. It just felt right. Honest, real. The next morning, something subtle happened. There was no burst of motivation, no sudden confidence. Ethan woke up tired, just like always. But instead of reaching for his phone, he sat at his desk for 10 minutes before work. Just 10. He didn't announce it. He didn't post about it. He didn't tell anyone. He simply opened a free online course he had bookmarked months ago and never touched. 10 minutes turned into 15. 15 turned into 20. Then he stopped, closed his laptop, and went to work. That day felt no different. Nothing magical happened. No one praised him. No reward came. But something had shifted. That evening, instead of scrolling endlessly, Ethan opened his notebook again. He wrote one page, Just one, about what he learned that morning. Then he went to sleep. Days pass, then weeks. Ethan kept his efforts small and quiet. Every morning, he worked for 30 minutes before work, learning, writing, practicing. Not because he felt inspired, but because he had made a private agreement with himself. This was his time. Not for validation, not for recognition, just for construction. Like laying bricks underground, at work. Nothing changed at first. Same desk, same emails, same routine. But inside Ethan, something was forming. His thinking became clearer. His confidence grew slowly, not from success, but from consistency. He stopped talking about what he wanted to do someday. He stopped explaining himself to people who didn't ask. He became quieter, more focused, more deliberate. 3 months later, Ethan had completed several online modules in data analysis, something he had chosen because it aligned with the company he worked for. He started noticing inefficiencies in the way customer data was handled, patterns others ignored, problems others accepted. One evening, long after everyone had gone home, Ethan stayed behind and built a simple system to organize recurring customer complaints and response times. No one asked him to. No one knew he was doing it. She just did it. The next week, his supervisor noticed something odd. Complaints were being resolved faster. Customers seemed less frustrated. Metrics were improving. Who changed this? The supervisor asked during a meeting. Silence filled the room. Ethan hesitated, then raised his hand. I made a small adjustment, he said. No speech, no bragging, just facts. That moment didn't change Ethan's life overnight, but it changed how he was seen. More importantly, it confirmed something he was beginning to understand deeply. Real progress is invisible for a long time, and most people quit before it becomes visible. As months passed, Ethan kept building in silence. While others spent evenings complaining about work, he refined his skills. While others announced goals, he executed quietly. When people asked him what he was working on, he simply smiled and said, just improving a few things. He learned something critical. When no one is watching, you are free. Free from judgment, free from comparison, free from pressure to perform instead of progress. 1 year later, Ethan no longer sat at the same desk. He was promoted into a role that didn't even exist when he started. A role created because he had made himself useful in ways no job description required. His income increased, his confidence solidified. His life changed. Not because of a lucky break, not because of talent, but because of what he built when no one was paying attention. Here's what most people never understand. Visibility is the reward, not the requirement. We live in a world that celebrates loud effort, announced goals, public commitments. But the truth is, growth is fragile in the beginning. It needs privacy. It needs repetition. It needs protection from outside opinions. Seeds don't grow faster because you dig them up to check on them. They grow because they're left alone to do their work. The life you want is built in early mornings, late nights, boring repetitions, and unglamorous discipline. It's built when you choose to practice instead of scroll, learn instead of complain, build instead of explain. It's built when you resist the urge to be seen and focus instead on becoming capable. You don't need permission. You don't need confidence. You don't need motivation. You need a system that works when motivation disappears. A private commitment you honor, even when no one claps. Especially when no one claps. So here's your challenge, a simple one. Tonight, ask yourself this question honestly. What can I build when no one is watching? Not tomorrow, not next year, starting this week. Choose one skill, one habit, one area of your life. Commit to working on it quietly for 90 days. No announcements, no updates, no validation. Just work. If this message resonated with you, hit the like button right now as a signal to yourself that you're done waiting and ready to build. Leave a comment telling me what you're going to work on in silence. I read them. And subscribe to this channel, because every week we break down the invisible principles behind real transformation. Remember this: the world rewards what it sees, but life is shaped by what it doesn't. Build quietly, let the noise come later. Your future self is already watching.